All right, and welcome back to episode 021. 021. For you military types, you artillerymen that speak in artillery numbers, 021. No bingos here of the OK podcast, powered by the Strength Co. I'm your host, Grant Broggi. We're coming to you live on Tuesday, May 21st. Well, we're not coming to you live. We'll come to you on Friday, but it's live here for us. We are currently living life on Tuesday, the 21st in summertime.
Summertime.
In the South. I don't think it's technically summer.
Is it? When's summer start?
I don't even know.
It's not.
It's not now. It's spring, but
yeah.
it's a homeschool education. But you can still see a little bit of light out there, which tells me that summer's coming.
Dude, when I was in Indiana for a long time, we were on the edge of Eastern State. What's it called? Eastern Standard Time. Yeah.
Eastern Southern Time.
Eastern Southern Time, baby.
Southern Time. That's what I'm on.
But we were on the very edge of it. So in the summer, a lot of people hated it because it would sundown would be at 10 p.m.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You're out all day.
You could fish all night.
And then when you went into work in the morning at 8 a.m., it's dark.
Ugh, yeah. Sounds terrible.
Yeah. I didn't like it. Like it. The other way around though, I remember the only time I visited Boston, which you like, big fan.
You've already hit Indiana and Boston before you've even given the price of Bitcoin. They're playing a playoff game right now.
Hey, there you go. But the only time I went to Boston, I can't remember what time of year it was, but I just remember the sun was setting at 4:30.
Oh yeah.
Because it's on the other edge of EST.
Yeah, that's right.
And I remember we were walking around and we were like, man, we've been walking around for hours at night. What time? It must be so late. And we looked at the clock. It's 7:45.
Yeah, 6:15 p.m. Not that late.
No, but I don't know. I don't know which one I'd take.
Well, I like the, I don't know. I just like that as an adult, I forget every year that it changes drastically.
It's whoa.
I've done this 36 times and every year I'm like, whoa, I can't believe how light it is this late.
Every time.
And then, this winter I'll be saying, whoa, I can't believe how early it gets dark. Every time it's shocking.
Which one's better? Fall forward or spring back?
Fall forward
is better.
Which one do you gain an hour of sleep?
So
spring back.
Yeah.
Spring back's way better.
No
one likes to fall forward.
No.
You spring back like hip drive out of a squat.
And then everybody's like, I'm so tired.
Yeah. Look at this.
Dude.
70,117. 70,000 is the price of Bitcoin. So everyone that was freaking out last week.
Calm down.
When we hit the 60s, 70,000. 70,000. Do you know when we started this podcast? January 4th. 2024, the price of Bitcoin was 40,500.
So basically everybody's welcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, what percentage increase is that?
I mean,
now I'm homeschooled. I didn't get the Common Core stuff. I didn't go to Harvard like my brothers, but I know that 10% of 40
I just know it's
is 4.
It's 75, something like that.
And I know that 4 times 3 is 12. And I know that 12 times 2 is 24, and that 40 plus 24 is 64, and we're even more than that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 26.5%.
It's 75. I nailed it off the guess.
Wait, 75%?
Yeah, increase.
Oh, it's 75% increase.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. You know how I did 70 divided by 40?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know what I did? I was
Public school.
I was like, well, a double is 100%.
Oh, you're thinking of it that way.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny. We went different sides of the mountain there. Yeah. I was just like, double's 80,000. That's 100. A little less than that. All right. Call it 75.
That's pretty good. Okay. So we're up 75%.
Everyone's welcome.
Bitcoin's up 75%. So just keep listening to the podcast. Keep sending us crypto clocks. You could send us a crypto sign we could put here. We still got the apartment thing going on here in the studio, even though this is a studio. So, you can send us some crypto stuff like Zach Copley did. Shout out with the block clock mini. And once that changes, we'll give you the block height so that Jory doesn't have to look it up himself, or PJ rather.
Don't say my government name.
Yeah, don't tell him your government name.
No way,
You
man.
lost in a boating accident.
That's right. Why is it that there's such a common core between carnivore, Bitcoin, and weight and barbell training?
It's weird.
What is that?
It's weird. What's funny is I just did an ads meeting with my ex rep, And it's crazy. You know, we run a lot of ads on Google. You have to if you're going to be a competitor. When I say we, I mean the Strength Co. We're not running ads for the OK podcast yet outside of BW tax ads. But, and I got like a regional person. So the gal I met with is in Charlotte.
Oh, cool.
She's like, I see you've been running ads. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, so like your last ad, like I'm looking at your keywords here. You did meat, carnivore, Bitcoin, weight training, Mark Ripito, starting strength, you know, she like list off all this stuff. And she's like, so like, I'm like a little bit confused. Like, how did you come up with this?
So are we.
And I was like, well, what I've realized having like tried to sell this for quite some time is that it seems that people that don't trust everything the government says right when they tell them, or think that, you know, alternative currency to fiat is a good thing, or that maybe things found in plastic bags and highly processed in the grocery store aren't good for you, or that maybe medicine can't fix your muscular atrophy as you age. All seem to like the same things. And she goes, wow, I'm so in your demographic. And I was like, oh, well, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. So,
would you like to buy some plates?
Yeah. Would you like to buy some plates? We can offer your home gym, then we can give you some coaching.
Yeah. You can buy it in Bitcoin. How about that?
Yeah. So I don't know. It seems to be there. But if you guys have ideas for keywords for our X ads, hit us up on X, the OK_pod. You can always find me, Grant SSC. Yeah, but hit us up.
Also fat, because starting strength makes you fat.
The starting strength makes you fat. Wait, real quick. Right here, the robots are talking to us. The block height. So we know what we did this when we did it. 844-512. You don't say this in dollars.
No,
this is just the height of the block.
This is just counting the blocks.
So is it in inches? No, it's just the blocks.
It's just number of blocks. Blocks is the unit.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. I totally understand this.
Yeah, totally.
844. So do I say thousands?
844,512 blocks
is equal to $70,144 of Bitcoin, which is one Bitcoin.
Yeah. I don't know if people connect it like that, but
yeah,
you know,
that's how I connect it.
You know, that block of information, if you want your seat at the table in the Swiss bank account in the sky, known as Bitcoin, it's worth that much.
Okay. Got it. Tracking now. Mark Ripito made us fat. We did a video this week, pros and cons of starting strength. This just in, there's no cons. No, but we did cover some of the things that people don't like about it, or what they might not like about it when they run it. Cliff notes. I will say though, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably subscribe to the YouTube and you probably already watched all 12 minutes of that video. But if for some reason you didn't, it's basically like, hey, if you're new to strength training, it's not the only way to get strong, but it's definitely the most time efficient way to get strong.
Yeah.
And if you get strong and you're running the program, gets kind of boring. So I still think boring is effective, and it's hard, which is also effective. But yeah, so that's what we talked about. So good video there. What else is happening on YouTube?
I don't know, but I do think maybe the solution is you just buy the blue book, and then you buy Ozempic, and then your problems are solved.
Yeah, Ozempic fixes everything. You just take a shot.
Boom.
Remove all hard work.
Right.
Remove all self-control. Remove everything. You just take the shot and stop eating. So I say, and Rip has said, and people have said, when someone wants to lose weight, eat less. Some people struggle with this. So you just inject yourself and then you eat less. But there's one rule. You can't act like you're not an Ozempic, because we know you. We know you. You're our friend. We've talked to you over the years. You've always been overweight. And then all of a sudden it's like, picked up Pilates. No, hun. That's not what's happening here. Pretty sure there's more to that.
Yeah, pretty sure your Pilates machine or your downward dog in your yoga didn't shed 50 pounds. What's your take on that? I'm just curious.
On Ozempic?
Yeah. So, okay. Ozempic recreationally, I feel like is a bad idea. But let's say for the case of like, all right, this guy is 100 pounds overweight. Like, it's bad. He struggled for years for whatever reasons, whatever behavioral, psychological reasons there are. What's your take on that guy using Ozempic? Meaning, hey, with all of this guy's willpower, it may take him a long time to lose weight, or probably never.
And he gets all that joint damage. He gets all that cardiovascular damage. He gets all the arteries blocked.
All of that. What if he could take Ozempic? Maybe there's some side effects, but what are the side effects of being 100 pounds overweight? Is that worse?
Yeah. So I don't know the side effects of Ozempic. I'm sure there are some. I don't know that we all know the side effects of Ozempic. It's like, imagine if we all got sick with a cold in 2020. We were like, hey, we should all take this shot.
What?
And it's like, wait, we don't know anything about it. To take it anyway. And here's 4 more of them.
You're saying we should mandate Ozempic?
Yeah, we should mandate Ozempic, end obesity in America for everyone. Grant Broggi, 2028. That's my platform. Ozempic for all.
If you don't take the shot, Ozempic shot, you're killing your grandma. You're killing grandma.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I don't know. I mean, I think there's upside to not being obese.
Yeah, clearly.
And there's upside of like, you're going to feel better. You're going to look better. So your confidence is probably going to be up. You're probably going to have better relationships. Not that people that are overweight don't have those things, but I guess I should put it this way. If you're overweight and don't like the fact that you're overweight and you have health concerns, high blood pressure, hypertension, these things, then maybe it's a solution.
That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I don't know. You put me on the spot here.
I did.
All 500 listeners are going to be like, Grant says he hates Ozempic.
Yeah. No, I don't know the answer either, but someone brought that up the other day, and I just, my take was like, man, for some use cases, it's like, I don't know what these mysterious side effects would be. Yeah. I don't think we know. So far, I do know that it clearly works.
Oh, it definitely
clearly
works.
is
definitely
effective.
Works. I mean, I have clients on it. I have lots of folks on it. It works. There's no doubt. I know people that are on it.
Oh, you have clients that are on Ozempic?
Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. And it almost gets to the point that they have to make sure that they eat. And if they're weight training, they have to like really make sure. Right. Because I've had a couple of people tell me, guys and gals, yeah, when I'm on Ozempic, I just don't want to eat. And it gets to the point like where I feel like I'm going to pass out.
Yeah. Probably getting enough protein is difficult.
It's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a free country.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
I put you on the spot.
This is America. No, I like it. I just don't know. I don't know the literature, and I'm probably not going to go back and study the literature. I'm a practical application kind of guy. So,
yeah, it seems pretty good so far. Don't quote me on this if in 3 years it makes you like grow a third horn or something
Dr.
like that.
PJ.
Dr. PJ. But I did hear also like this with the semaglutide or whatever it's called, like this has been used for a long time for other applications, like for diabetics or for other use cases. So it's not like, hey, we invented this brand new thing.
They just rebranded it for weight loss.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think they upped the dosage, which could be a thing, but it's kind of like, okay, this isn't going to obviously like kill you right away, because if it did, we'd see people dropping dead. Yeah. So I'm not saying it's safe.
Although
I'm just
if
saying,
they were dropping dead for like diabetes and other things, they would just blame it on the diabetes.
That's true.
The medical people never blame the medicine. Just the way it goes.
We've never seen that before. But okay, I just was wondering.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think if you're taking Ozempic and you want to reach out to the OK Podcast and you want to, we'll interview you.
Oh,
come on. I'd love to hear from someone and their results.
If you've lost 50 pounds or more.
If you've lost 50 pounds or more and you're lifting weights,
yeah,
and you own at least some share of Bitcoin,
we want to talk to you.
Give us a call. 1-800-OK Podcast. I mean, just kidding. www.theokpodcast.com. Reach out to us on any social. Okay. I did want to talk about, before we bring the guys on here, the importance of following a program. And I feel like I talk a lot about the importance or the value of being strong so that you don't have to follow a program, right? Like if you get strong, then every time you go into the gym and you lift something that's considerably heavy, and again, this is all relative to your strength. I'm going to give my numbers as an example, but it's just doesn't really matter. The number doesn't really matter. The point is this: if you're a guy like me, 6'1", 220, and you start lifting and you squat 155, doesn't do a whole bunch for you. It does enough for you to be able to squat 160, but it's really not that stressful in terms of your height, your size, your body weight. So, you run a program like Starting Strength and you get strong and you can squat, I don't know, 405 for 5x5. That's what I can do. And now that's super stressful and you're kind of strong. I mean, it's, double body weight that you're lifting for a set of 5 almost, or almost double body weight for a set of 5. And so you can get away with, hey, if I get busy if life gets hectic, I can go in the gym, I can knock out one lift and I can do it really heavy. I can go in and I can squat 405 for 3 sets of 5. And that's enough stress that I'm not weakling and I'm not atrophying. And, I'm carrying muscle mass. Am I making progress? Maybe, probably not, but I can maintain. And then maybe I miss the next day. Then the next day I go in and I deadlift 2 sets of 5 at 430. And then I do some bench presses at 275, whatever, which is by the way, freakish bench press behavior. If you're doing anything over 225, you're genetic freak.
You're genetics.
But if you get strong, if you run a program to get strong, and I would make the argument that you need to be very focused and diligent to run a program to get strong. If you get strong, when life gets crazy and busy, you can kind of do less to sustain and maintain. And that's what I do a lot. And that's what I would say I've been doing kind of like the last 9 to 10 months is, hey, I go into the gym. Yeah, I still write my workouts down. Yeah, I still pay attention. Yeah, I still try to add weight, but at the same time, I might squat on a Monday, bench on a Tuesday, deadlift on a Wednesday, miss Thursday and Friday, go in on Saturday, squat and press or something. And it's like these rolling days and you're just trying to like keep your head above water and keep everything hard and making sure you're working hard. Say, let's say we launched our new program on our Slack, $29 a month. You can join our Slack. We have 3 programming tracks and it's a 15-week program I wrote where kind of volume or intensity rises over time along with the volume. And, it's percentage based. And this is not designed for like, don't come join if you haven't done some type of strong lifts, starting strength, some type of linear progression to get you strong. If you come in and you put in a 200-pound back squat and you're a 200-pound male, like you don't need to be running this program. But if you've actually gotten strong, it works. Anyway, I sell it to say, I haven't like run a program specifically. And I was like, you know what, this block, I'm going to run the program and I'm going to time lapse my workouts and I'm going to drop it in the Slack channel so that the 40 guys in there can see me doing it. Mm-hmm. And man, it sucks. Cause sometimes like if you're in like a maintenance mode, you go in and squat and I'm guilty of this. I walk in the gym, I'm like, I'm going to squat and I'm going to bench. And then I just totally gas up the squat. I'm like, you know what? I'm strong. I'll just roll that bench to tomorrow. I'll just do the bench tomorrow. And then it's like rows don't really do anything. Yeah, you don't need to do rows. Fake. Just skip the rows. And so now I'm running this program and it was like the first week it was 75%. I'll just give a squat example. 75% for 4 sets of 3. And I'm like 375 for triples, easy. But I had written in there like in the first, I think it's 4 weeks, like only rest 2 minutes. And so the 4 sets of 3 are fine. But this week it went to 5 sets of 3. And man, I got there set 5 and I'm like a full sweat all over my coupe puffy jacket tee. And I'm just like sweat dropping on the floor and I do it. And then I'm like, now I have to bench. Now I have to row. Now I have to do push-ups. But just like having someone make you add 5 pounds on the bar when you don't want to, because last time was hard, following some type of structure is useful. And this is always my take on intermediates. If you're an intermediate, I don't know what program's the best. The best program's the one that you'll follow. And the one that you'll follow, I assume if you're following an intermediate programming, you're following something written by someone with somewhat of intelligence. It could be AI. It could be really anyway. It could be any of these programs you can download. But if you'll actually follow it and do everything it says for the prescribed amount of time, 12, 15, 16, whatever it is, weeks, you'll have progress because it just holds you accountable. So anyway, I've been there before, but after, the last 3 quarters of me hanging on and doing maintenance, I'm like, man, yep, I got a program. These guys are expecting me to put in what I did. Better do it. Yeah. I mean, I think that the hardest part of strength training and most things, but if we're just talking about strength training, the hardest part is not lifting the weights. The hardest part is showing up to the gym and the behavior of it. And while I believe that you would agree that we're all about willpower over here and being disciplined and all of that stuff, And Ozempic, the 3 keys of success. Yeah. And sometimes I find myself agreeing with this a lot. If something's really hard for you, like showing up for the gym, instead of forcing yourself and trying to gain some willpower that you don't have, just take it out of your hands. Just be like, I'm outsourcing this. Someone else is going to tell me how to do this.
Someone else is going to tell me how to do this. And then I'm going to feel deep shame if I don't actually do this. So now I'll actually show up. I think sometimes you just need to like get your butt out of bed and show up to the gym. But I mean, a lot of times it's better just to be like, you know what? No, I'm going to take my willpower out of this. Just like put myself on a program, tell someone else I'm doing it, sign up, pay some money, all of that. And it's going to work. Like it actually works. I'm pro that strategy.
It's like the little challenges we do within the Slack community. We did January, we did 10,000 steps a day. I forgot what February was, but we do something once a month. Oh, we just did a weight loss thing where you just literally, I wouldn't even call it a weight loss thing. You just had to weigh yourself and type it in every day.
But it's funny that is a weight loss thing.
It does work. And you made people pay. Mm-hmm. Hey, you got to pay $10 to get in here.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, now I have to do it. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
All right, let's get these guys on here. Episode 021, no bingos here, of the
Okay.
Oh, we're doing tandems now, I see.
Okay.
Podcast powered by the Strength Co.
Oh, I thought we were going to say it again.
Oh, Guidons.
Okay. You're so lame.
Podcast.
We're good.
Let's see. We got
We're good.
Jeff Buege, Buege, major type, coming in from Salt Lake City, the greater Salt Lake City area. Trace Gottlich, Robert Gottlich III, Marine Captain, Semper Fi.
Retired.
Frisco, Texas. And then we're here in studio in the upstate of South Carolina. And this episode is brought to you by our friends over at BW Tax. You know who has technical issues sometimes? The OK Podcast. Sometimes we have technical issues. You
the
know
IRS.
You know who doesn't have technical issues? The warm bodies at BW Tax. You need tax advice. And remember, like I've always said, and I always say, and I'll say till I die, it's never too early to start next year's taxes.
This is true.
These people are here for you 24/7, 365. Just give them a call. And when they answer, say, okay. And I think you're going to get some special treatment. So BW Tax, thanks for sponsoring.
That's it. That's the episode.
All right. See you guys later.
Great
All
episode.
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Good job,
We
everybody.
can knock out like 7 episodes in a row real quick.
Yeah. Okay. And remember, this episode is brought to you by BW Tax.
0022 in the books. Nice.
What's up?
Oh,
Your
goodness
camera
gracious.
really is looking good, Trey.
Do I look pretty?
Yeah, you look
Beautiful.
Yeah,
You look great.
It's like the Ozempic of cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about
Wow.
Ozempic before this.
Oh, sweet.
That was what y'all were talking about?
Is that our next
Yeah.
sponsor?
That's the next sponsor.
Yeah, potential
sponsor. Big
based off,
Pharma.
based off how the ad read went. Yeah.
I've heard, speaking of Ozempic, have you heard of these things called Ozempic babies? Apparently it like promotes fertility in women.
Oh, really?
And so like older women who've been like using Ozempic have been getting pregnant.
I have heard of this actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I wonder if listen, by the way, I am not a doctor, so this might all be fake news. What I'm about
when
to
they
say.
come out
He
skinny too, skinny
gives,
babies.
He gives financial advice, not doctor advice.
Yeah, only
Yeah.
financial advice. But
PJMD.
I'm curious
ahead.
I wonder if that's related to it. Don't some people take like metformin as like a fertility enhancer, and that's related to like your insulin, controlling your insulin. I wonder if it's like that class of drugs just like is related to that. I don't know.
No, I have no idea.
All right.
Get healthy, get pregnant.
Oh,
Hey.
That's what I always say.
Or take Ozempic.
Yeah, that's what I mean. High blood pressure and want to get pregnant? Ozempic.
Beach body and a baby.
Yeah. I don't know. No one likes a skinny baby. You want like a chunky monkey.
Of course.
Yeah.
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 Anyway,
Skinny
Jeff-
baby's kind of off-putting,
Yeah.
right? Like you don't want to be like, you're like, what's going on with that baby? Are you making it do push-ups? Like, what kind of parent are you?
Are you not feeding it everything at once? What's going on?
Baby's
Like,
getting its fives back, huh?
Yeah.
Get it on GoMad immediately.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Seriously.
I was a skinny baby. I can't say anything.
Nah, that's the issue.
That's the issue.
Are you an Ozempic baby?
Maybe. Who knows?
I think I'm a boomer baby.
What's that mean?
The boomer generation?
Oh, how?
Right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's too personal, but how old
were
were your parents when you were born?
35. When were the boomers born?
Oh, you were.
Boomer, yeah, I'm
You
a
were.
boomer baby.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
My dad is barely a boomer, and he had me at 30.
Yeah.
So-
you're a boomer baby too.
Yeah.
Baby.
Well, my mom isn't, so I'm half boomer.
You're half boomer.
Yeah.
What's the cutoff?
It's like
I think it's like 64, 65, somewhere in there. Something like that.
Oh,
the end of the boomer era.
Yeah.
yeah.
Then you're Gen
I am
X.
too.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's why like we don't know how
I
to
guess we all
reset our own routers and stuff because it's like a boomer gene that just goes through like,
Mm.
That's what
how
it
do I
is.
get on the Wi-Fi?
Mm.
Dad, just click where it says password and my phone's going to pop up share password. No.
Is this going to cost me money? That's my favorite thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I was doing, was it like in middle school? You had like AOL, like chat,
Yeah.
instant.
AIM.
Yeah, AIM, whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
Is this going to cost me? Does this cost me money? Like, no,
Yeah.
it doesn't. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, well, no, not really, but it might. I don't know. It might.
Yeah. My dad asked me recently, so what's an oil change cost in Greenville? And I was like,
That's such a dad question.
Yeah. I don't know. Oh, you're changing your own oil? No, not either.
Abby's granddad updated me. Apparently, stamps are 67 cents a pop. So,
Wow.
Wow.
yeah.
That's cheaper than Bitcoin.
Oh, is Bitcoin on now?
Yeah, Bitcoin's at 71,000.
No, it's gone up.
So yes, that is cheaper than.
Yeah,
A little bigger, a little cheaper
What
than
would you
Bitcoin.
have, a
Was it
stamp
cheaper
or a
than an oil
Bitcoin?
change though? We'll never know.
Take all your
never know.
Bitcoin money and just transfer it to stamps.
Yeah.
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 And then pay
Solid.
for your oil changes in stamps.
Stamps just keep going up. Steady investment.
They just keep going.
A forever stamp. I'm telling you.
Actually, I wonder what the rate of return would be on stamps if you bought them like 20 years ago. What were they then? A cent?
They were.
Just
I
use
remember.
stamps as currency.
That's
I remember
a 67X. I don't know.
I remember stamps went to 32 cents when I was like somewhere between 10 and 13. And I
That's
don't
a
know
big
what
deal.
it was a big deal.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. I want to say they were 25 cents before. They were a quarter or maybe less, but it went to 32 cents. My dad was like up in arms.
Oh, yeah.
Federal government coming for you. First, they take your pennies for your stamps. Then they take your 5.56 for your AR-15, son.
This is true. That's the order.
That's the order.
Amen.
Anyway, Jeff's got a whole slide deck there, and we're rambling about Ozempic.
No, this
stamps.
is good though. You got to let it flow. This one was. You'll see them a little random jumping into it, but I know it was in the slide deck last week, and we didn't get to it. But Trey wants to know
It's all random.
your best officer of the day stories.
Ooh.
There's a little Marine Corps throwback.
Well, then, Trey, you have to go first.
Yeah.
And why does this
And
involve a gun and me?
Yeah. And then explain.
No, that's not even my best one.
Explain what officer of the day is and how much.
I like
fun
Grant.
it
I
is.
feel like Grant's very good at translating to the civilian population
Okay.
Me.
Yeah, for PJ.
for PJ.
And, 5 other listeners. So, officer of the day. Okay, so if you're a battalion commander or a regimental commander or whatever level commander you are the person that is responsible for everything that happens in the unit. But you also have a wife and children. And at the end of the workday, you go home. And so you go home at, I don't know, 1700. We're not playing the parking lot game.
Sure.
You go home
Yeah.
at 5 p.m. and you don't come back to work till 7 a.m. tomorrow. So someone takes the role of anything that the commander should know will come through me. And that's called the officer of the day. On the enlisted side, they have like a barracks duty.
Like after 5 p.m.
Yeah,
Correct.
whatever time the guy leaves work.
Okay,
So
got
what
it.
that means, if you're like an OOD, is it's usually like you're a lieutenant, is you have to put on the special uniform, you carry a gun, and you go sit in the office, like at the Sally Porter, the entrance, and you're like there. And if the phone rings, you answer it. And there's a special phone number that if anything's going wrong in the unit, you answer it. And then there's all these duties, enlisted duties throughout like wherever you're at. And if they have an issue, they come to you.
That sounds like a tough gig. Like,
Yeah,
It's
super
really
tough
not.
gig. Super tough gig.
It's babysitting.
Yeah, it's
essentially.
babysitting.
is it?
And
It's overnight though. Like,
it's overnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
this
sucks.
This is the kicker is like you get it on a Tuesday. So you work Tuesday, whatever time, 06 to 1600. But then you have to check in for duty That's 1600.
Oh.
And then you don't check off for duty till 08 the next morning. And then guess what? You go back to work.
You go
right the
right
next
to work.
day. You go right back to work. And
When do you sleep?
well, so you have a counterpart. And so, but you have all these things you have to do, like go over there and make sure that building's locked. There's a chain fence over there. Make sure that the chain's around the fence and that it's locked. Go by this guy at this time. And you have this big green book.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally a big green, like government issued notebook.
So official.
And you have
Dude,
to take
it's so
to-do list.
a ruler and put it on like the line that you're going to write on. And you write, 2230 OOD secures motor pool. 2222. Private first class Biggie's mother called, worried about him, requesting call back from Sergeant Major. Like anything that happens, you log
You
it.
have to log everything.
You have to log it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's awful, but it's great because it's honor, courage, commitment, kill. But yeah, that's OOD. So now with that, Trey.
It's yeah. And so I'll just preface this. The worst one to get, and usually the new guys will usually get it, is like a weekend duty, right?
Or like July 4th.
Because it's like you work all week and then or like a holiday or something like that. And then you're just there all day Saturday. So usually
if you get it on a Wednesday, during the day, the boss is there.
Yeah.
So you just do your normal job.
Yeah.
And then you're only like nighttime through the next morning. But
Yep.
if you get it on a Saturday,
it's
like,
all day.
One, you should be off, and two, you're wearing this uncomfortable uniform, and it's all day long.
Okay. That's a grind.
Okay,
And
continue.
it's brutal. So when I first started, I'll go first. So when I first started, second lieutenant,
Prison.
relatively new, I was paying my dues and I got tagged with the Saturday.
You started as a
OD.
second lieutenant. Jeff and I started as captains.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
was it promoted during Fort Sill?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Carry on.
Yeah. And so I was duty on a Saturday. I think it was with Staff Sergeant Vargas. Good guy. Really, really liked working with him. And so it was, and the duty was nice when I first started because we had a TV in there. So you can kind of kill some time and watch TV. And it was during college football. So I remember I was sitting here like on a Saturday. And when you're sitting duty, you're supposed to stay like perfect uniform the whole entire time. Like keep your cover on. Like,
Yeah, because whenever you're carrying a weapon,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be
have
covered.
your cover, your hat on. So you can't carry a weapon
Obviously.
without a cover on.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Is there an explanation,
Yeah.
or is that just like that's what you do?
There's probably an explanation, but the three of us don't know.
That's
Well,
probably like
it's
Yeah,
Understood.
150
If you're
years
under
old. And
arms.
everyone
you wear-
knows. Yeah.
you-
Guns
you
don't
wear-
work if you don't have a hat on.
Yeah, you wear your cover, which means usually you walk inside a building, you take your cover off.
Okay.
But if you're under arms, carrying a sword,
so it's more of like
carrying
an
a weapon.
identification thing, maybe.
yeah,
Customs and
look-
courtesies.
Look at the civilian being smart over here.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably
Okay.
correct. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you see the guy, he wears a special belt, and you're like, oh, it's the duty.
Okay, got
Anyway,
it.
continue.
you wear a cool little
Packing.
arm thing that goes right here. And
yeah.
love that.
Nice.
So you're
Armband.
supposed to be, so I was supposed to be like wearing my cover, right?
Yep.
Had my gun, everything. But it's like first or second game. And like, I'm into like a Saturday duty
Mhm.
and I'm just like killing time. I don't know, real relaxed. So I take my cover off,
Oof.
have my feet like on the desk, like really. And we're just Staff Sergeant has his cover off. He's like on his phone texting,
Yep.
like tweeting, doing whatever he's doing. So we're real laid back right now in duty, right? So the duty office was at the end of the building, first floor, and out of the corner of my eye, I was next to a window. I see somebody walk by, but as soon as they walk by, there's a door, and they walk straight into the office, right?
Uh-oh.
And so I see someone at the corner of my eye walk by, like two people, turn around, come in, and like all I see is like silver, like a lot of it, like on a collar, right? And I'm like, oh,
Brass, baby.
like, oh man, I was like a bunch of stars right here, right? So I'm like, okay, this guy's important, and so I'm like, I know I should stand up. I have my cover on because you're supposed to call like attention on deck, right?
Yeah,
And so,
or
like,
at a
For
minimum,
the one other
get up and
person in the
salute.
room.
For the one other person in the
Yeah.
room, yeah, or at least stand up, salute them, like give them
Sure.
the green of the day, whatnot. I don't have my cover on, and I like halfway stand up, and then like the base general walks in and is like, ask me, he's like, oh, how's the game going? Oh, who's playing right now? And I'm like, oh, okay, he's pretty laid back. He must be okay with this. And so,
okay.
Yeah. And so I give him like hey, Georgia's playing so-and-so. Here's the score. He's like, hey, can keep up the good work. And then like the base sergeant major, as they're leaving, like pulls his staff sergeant out and is like, hey, staff sergeant, let me talk to you. And then he's like, okay. So he pulls staff sergeant out. Staff sergeant comes back and he's like, we're in big trouble. I was like, awesome. So fantastic. I go, okay. I had no idea who that guy was at the time. So I go on the wall. There's a wall of pictures from the president all the way down to like the regimental battalion commander, right? I go on the wall and stop whenever you find him and tell me who that is. And so he starts at the president and he's like vice president, like going down, and he doesn't go down that far, and he gets to the base general. He like writes it down, like write down the logbook. And I'm like, okay. So we get a phone call from like the XO, like everybody like yelling at us of like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you wearing your cover? Long story short, we show up on Monday morning. There's a new order, a base order that comes down saying no more TVs while on duty. So I feel like I left. I left it in a better spot.
It's a legacy. It's a legacy.
Big impact.
Yeah,
He did it. He did it.
Added value. That's
good.
brutal, man. That's brutal.
Any duty
dude.
stories come to mind for you, quick, Jeff?
I got super lucky in that I never really had like anything wild happen. One quick one would be, I remember it was when I was chopped over to 3rd Battalion, 1st Marine, so infantry battalion, as like one of their like company fire support officers, so like the artillery guy that gets attached to do stuff for the company level. And I'm like on duty, and like the XO was just like this real like dickhead guy. I won't say his name, but he was just not like very, very fiery individual. People did not like him.
Brian. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Brian.
And so I go to like do duty changeover, and I think like, and on this one, like it was not a sleeping post. So you're just like dead tired. Like you've been up all night.
So some of them you don't ever get to sleep. So some of them are sleeping posts. There's a cot in there, and you grab like your counterpart and you're like, hey, you watch everything for a little bit and you sleep for like 2 hours.
Okay.
Some of them you're just like, you're up all night.
And so I could go in to like do duty changeover, and like I get like halfway through it, and he like stops me and he's like, did you shave this morning? And I was like, I forgot, or like, I don't know. The whole night was like a blur. So I was like, no, sir. I forgot to shave, but I'm going to shower and change over and shave before I like go report to work. And he was like, oh shit, that's unacceptable. Blah, 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 blah. Like just starts chewing me out right there on the spot. And he's like, come out to the hallway. So out in the hallway are like command photos for every person that's been a battalion commander for 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines ever. So like in the history of the battalion, like all the pictures are on the wall, but there's like some that like are missing a photo, and it's like just a name. And he's like, see this person right here? Like reads off the name. He's like, you need to find the picture that goes here, and you need to give it to me next week, and you need to have a full report on like this guy's bio. And so I'm like, oh shit, all right. And then like later that day, I'm like Googling, I'm like, wait, I'm not gonna like if no one at like the Marine Corps like archives has a picture of this guy, Google is not gonna like find a picture of this guy from Vietnam or like before that, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, you know what? I'm going to not do it and just see what happens.
Nothing happened.
And they just completely forgot about it. So
I thought for sure you turned in photos of like Luke Skywalker, Anakin Vader, and
I thought you were still working on it to this day.
I'm still working on it. Yeah. I'm trying to track it down.
One day.
I was like,
that's crazy, man.
How am I going to just find this photo if no? Okay. But
I'll make mine real short. And I probably have some better ones, but one that I think was funny is while we were at Fort Sill, your your officers, your students in this thing, but there's also enlisted Marines that are being trained at Fort Sill. Fort Sill's the artillery schoolhouse in Lawton, Oklahoma. And so like, you don't know anything. You've never been to a unit yet. You've never like checked in. You've never done anything. Like, you've only been through like basic training, and now you're learning artillery, but like, you don't know how to officer. No disrespect to my TBS instructors, but like, you have no practical application. And the Fort Sill instructors, the captains, like convinced the colonel over Fort Sill that they shouldn't have to stand duty, and that the lieutenants that were a part of, the schoolhouse should rotate duty. So I go to stand duty in a barracks at Fort Sill on like a Saturday night, and it's full of 18-year-olds. It's full of like junior enlisted Marines that are literally leaving, going to strip clubs, drinking underage, coming back, bringing in stuff that they're not allowed to have. And I just remember being up all night. I was with a gunny, and we reported everything. But no, it was just like, I don't know how to deal with any of this. And then like later on, it like dawned on me, like 4 years in the Marine Corps, I'm like, oh, those captains just didn't want to stand duty. So they were like, oh, put the second lieutenants in there. Yeah, that's my duty story.
That reminds me of another one real quick, if we got time.
Make it quick.
Even going back before, so at TBS, like, you have to stand duty, like, I don't know, it's like once or twice out of 6 months or something like that. Again, it's to expose you, to train you, to get you ready for when you're an officer in the fleet. And so you're a student, but then there's also like one of the captains that's like an instructor there that is like the duty for all of the companies that are like training. And so he usually like comes around and like checks in with you. And like, remember this one particular, he wasn't an instructor in our company, but like, so he comes in, he's like, all right, hey, set lieutenant, like, we're going to go on a tour. We're going to go walk around. We're going to go check these barracks. And it's like later at night. And he's like, we like get outside and we're like walking over to one building. He's like, oh, we're going to find some lieutenants having sex up and like, cause you could not like have sex on Camp Barrett or whatever it was. Like, you weren't supposed to. It was big offense, but he was convinced that like he was going to catch him. So he's like, we're going to go. If you like walk all the way up to there's like the floor where like people are staying and have their rooms and like stuff. And then there was like another floor or like sort of thing above that was like probably access to like HVAC stuff and whatever. But he was like, I'm going to catch someone up here. Like, let's go. We're going to get him. And he like takes me on this like caper. We search all the like the buildings. No one's up there, but he was like, I know it. We probably just missed him. I know. It's he was so close.
Just missed him.
This is his mission in life.
So close.
His name was Dexter.
That's funny, man.
That was a good one.
Dude, I got 1,000, I think.
Yeah. We can save some for next time.
Yeah. Next slide.
Let's see. Who here was able to get through the Terence Howard episode of Joe Rogan for the Joe Rogan listeners?
I got through about 38 minutes.
So
I'm still high from it.
Whenever he opened up and he was like, my first memory was in my mom's uterus. I was like, what? What are we listening to right here?
I remember being in the womb.
Yeah.
I heard so much about it from people that I like and respect, of being like, what is this? And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to listen to that.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Got through like 10 minutes.
He's like, hydrogen isn't the key of E.
I was like, they were talking about it in our Zoom class. And I said, I was like, I'm sorry, who's Terence Howard? And that's not Grant being stupid, but they're like, oh, he's like the friend in Iron Man.
Oh, yeah.
In the first one.
I'm like, that helped me zero.
Like, oh.
So I'm like Googling him as I'm on Zoom, and I'm like, oh, I've definitely seen this guy's face, but like everything he's been in, I don't know anything about. Like, it's like, what's his biggest
Hustle and Flow? I feel like he won some awards for that one.
Okay.
Which if you had seen that, I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, someone described him as the actor's actor.
Oh, I get that, because there's people who say, I was in music for a long time, and people say like, oh, that's like a musician's musician. meaning like,
I mean, I get what it means, but why do they say he's that?
oh, if it's the same as music, it's like he's kind of like gone down the rabbit hole of like, oh, he's like real deep into like the theory of acting, and like actors would appreciate his technique, but like the general public would be like, I don't know, just he's an Iron Man, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that guy was crazy though. He was like, hydrogen's in the key of E, and if you go up an octave, you get carbon or something like that. He was trying to like put all these things together. I'm like, he definitely has a creative mind. I will give him that. I don't know how accurate that creativity is, but like he does make some connections.
You say something crazy enough that no one can confirm it. You're like, okay.
That's what we should do, man.
Jeff can't hear anything now. He's just listening to Waylon.
This is your time.
Good.
If you're listening to this podcast and not watching it, you're missing out. Head over to the OK Podcast on YouTube and subscribe, and you'll see Grant's cats, Jeff's cats, Trey's nice new camera, PJ's hats, my 10X and Stetson. Even if you want to just listen to it on the podcast channels, we love that. Just go subscribe to the YouTube anyway, just so we can
do it.
Get that algorithm going.
A lot of times I just watch it with no sound on, just
Oh, it's on a loop in our house.
Yeah, exactly.
With the sound on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Diana loves it. I turn it all the way up every night and just watch the OK Podcast.
Nice.
Loop it. Okay.
Grant, in our little thread here, you put high school graduation. So is you just graduated from high school? Congratulations.
I have my GED.
Whew.
Grant's educational degree.
Get her done.
Yeah. No, I went to my nephew's graduation. Where I wanted to go with this. So he went up near you, Mount Perrin High School, Kennesaw region, Marietta. Boo.
Walker's rival.
Oh, you went to Walker. Yeah. I would think that Holy Innocents would be the rival. Protestants versus Catholics. Ooh. Yeah. Anyway,
Grant's knowledge of Georgia high schools.
Yeah. Well, it went up a lot this past weekend. But anyway, I went to it and it was great. He'll never listen to this, but Jack Broggi, proud of you. Congrats, buddy. Good luck at UGA. This is where the Gamecocks are actually gonna go on a run and beat you. Except we don't play you for the next 2 years because the SEC has totally ruined everything. But I will save that for later. Anyway, so I'm looking at this and I'm reading the program. There's 115 graduates, and 114 of them out of 115. It's Jeff Biggie, Auburn, Trey Gottlich, Texas A&M, PJ, Samford, Butler, whatever. And, except none of them went to, there's a bunch of Auburn. There was a bunch of Georgia. There was a bunch of Bama. There was a bunch of Sawakani University of the South, which I'd never heard of before. It's in Tennessee. Sewanee. Yeah.
Sewanee.
Yeah. I love that you can translate my language, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Sawakani.
So I'm immediately like, did anyone go to the Citadel? No. Did anyone go to the University of South Carolina? No. And then I'm like, well, Jacksonville State, they're Gamecocks, kind of counts. And then I'm like, did anyone say, hey, I don't want to go to college? And I'm like, one guy.
Really?
Ethan Kimenesic. I probably butchered that name, but Ethan something. And it's like trade school, Georgia lineman, LLC, whatever. Wow. And I was like, I love this kid. And I'm like, texting my brother on the side. And I'm like, please tell me Jack's friends with Ethan. Please tell me Jack's friends with Ethan. He's like, he is. And like when he comes up, I'm like, yeah, Ethan, go, buddy, go, let's go.
Trade school.
I bet he's going to make more money than a lot of these guys.
Probably already is. Already is. Yeah,
dude, if he's a welder, this guy's clean up.
Anyway, I just thought it was funny that I feel like there's a shift going on in America life where like we grew up kids of boomers, where it was like, you go to college.
Yep.
You're not dumb. You go to college. I've been working hard and saving. You're going to go to college. You go to college, boy. That's what we do. And now I'm like, I don't know that college is all that important. No. But it's in that middle ground right now where it's like
Transition.
people still feel like they have to go. Whereas I feel like Trey, you with 2 kids, 18 years from now, are you pushing college? I don't know. That was all I was thinking. Well, when I dropped that in there, I just thought
there was no military, huh?
No military, which I was also, I mean, it's 115 people. It's not very much. But yeah, I was surprised that there was not like one person that's like, I'm joining the army. But yeah, all going to college, or maybe they're going to college and they're on ROTC scholarships.
Well, the whole deal changed with college. Now it's like you increase the supply of college graduates, and now the degree's worth less. And now the actual cost of tuition is just skyrocketed. I'm Googling right now. So only facts, the inflation rate of college degrees, college tuition inflation averaged 12% annually from 2010 to 2022. That's a high number. 12% a year.
Yeah.
More?
Man.
Okay.
That means that means in like 7 years, it'll double.
My
6-7 years, it'll double.
They'll just go to trade school.
No, they'll just go to Texas A&M.
They're going to work for the strength co.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Open up those factories, tighten of industry.
That's why I told Jack at his graduation party. I was like, you could have come to work for me, and my name could have been in this graduation bulletin. Jack Broggi, the strength co. Oh, last thing I'll leave on
free
that.
advertising.
Then we can move on. So, my grandfather, when we came through Ellis Island, they pronounced it Broggi, Italiano.
Yeah.
And my grandfather opens his eye doctor practice in Worcester, Massachusetts, predominantly Irish. And he would always say how it was against the law back then to advertise. And so everything was word of mouth. And the Irish people weren't intelligent enough to say Broggi. He was married to an Irish woman. So, I mean, there's no hard feelings here. So he changed it to Broggi. So when I started the YouTube channel, which I didn't think we'd continue to have 25,000 subscribers, I was like, I'm just going to say Broggi. And so I did it. And so my dad's like, starts watching the YouTube channel. He's like, hey, you should advertise in my radio station. I really think you get some business. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, that's actually a pretty good idea. I should do that. He goes, yeah, but if you do, you need to advertise as Grant Broggi because no one will know. And I was like, oh, I didn't know this was offensive. Anyway, my nephew goes to graduate. We're all sitting there. Well, not all of us, but everyone that had come. And he's like, University of Georgia, Jack Broggi. And my brother-in-law is like sitting there. He goes, dude, I think he's been watching your YouTube. And I was like, yeah, household name, making changes over here.
Nice.
You want to hear some crazy numbers real quick? Final note on this. So since 1963, college tuition has increased 747.8%. Okay, just hold that in your head. That's like 7 doubles right there.
Okay.
The average wage let's see, I found a World Economic Forum chart, so it's going to be good. Long-term view on wages in the United States, real hourly earnings for production and non-supervisory employees in the U.S. In 1964, it looks like this is kind of crazy, but it was $20. And in 2019, it's $23, almost $24.
So it pays to go to college?
No.
No.
No. That's crazy though. We've barely had a wage increase since then and a 700+% increase in tuition. Oof.
Nice.
I don't know. My thing, if going to college, I think if you have like if you don't know what you want to do, I don't know. I wish high schools were better at like trying to help you figure out kind of what you want to do. So you have like a more defined game plan instead of doing like, oh, I don't have a major for 2 years and I'm just going to pick something arbitrarily. I don't know. That's what I did. I wish it was something more.
Same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I just think you should, if you want to go to college, you want to go to the football games. So pick a team that's going to win.
That's a great point.
Part of it is like, I learned a lot socially.
Yeah. No. There's a ton about it. Yeah. Okay. Next slide, Jeff.
All right.
Wood on that.
Speaking of college, do we want to do our SEC
I got the thumbnail.
preview?
Yeah, I'm ready for the preview.
We can hop into that.
We're talking Arkansas Razorbacks this week. Trey,
Razorbacks.
Oh man, hold on, let me go to my notes.
hit us with it.
So I was talking with my buddy Jake, who's
Big Suey.
big Blue Pig Suey fan, defensive coordinator at Legacy Christian. Go Eagles.
Rivals of Mount Paran and Holy Innocents. Got it.
Yeah, 100%. So I don't know, man. So as far as starting off, so Sam Pittman, I can't try to remember how long he's been there for now. It's his 5th year, maybe 4th or 5th
Something
year.
like
I can't remember. I don't know. He's on the hot seat for sure. They went 4-8 last year. So I think if I take a guess, man, I would say this is probably his last year, unless he just pulls a rabbit out of the hat. But they hired, made some big hires. Bobby Petrino from A&M. I think in his contract, he's not allowed to ride any motorcycles at Arkansas. That's what he got fired from Arkansas because he was joyriding with a woman friend of his.
Yeah, after
that he was not married to.
After like 3 bottles of wine.
A woman friend.
Yes.
And then I think they got into what was the thing that he got into an accident is what he said because he had like a neck brace and everything.
Yeah, but it was fake.
I think it was fake. Yeah, I think that girl's boyfriend beat him up. I think is actually what it was. Regardless, super talented,
Great
offensive,
coach. Great coach.
really great
Exactly
coach.
where I want to send my kids to play.
Yeah.
That kind of leadership.
Real
College all the way.
character builder.
Hey, he's changed, Grain. He's a changed man. So I don't know. Great hire. I think that was a really good pickup for them. But I honestly think he's the coach in waiting. And if Sam Pittman doesn't win enough games, I think Bobby Petrino will be the coach, interim coach, and then future coach by the end of the year.
Was Pittman at Houston?
Before, no, he was the Georgia offensive line coach.
Oh, this is his first head coaching gig?
Yeah. But he's a big Arkansas guy. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like you want it to work out. Like everyone in Arkansas wants it to work out just because everyone loves him there, but you gotta win games.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think great hire with Bob Petrino, defensive coordinator, 2nd year, Travis Williams. I think he was an Auburn guy at one point in time.
Yep. Former linebacker.
Linebacker. So 2nd year there. So we'll see how they do. So offensive this year, KJ Jefferson was a quarterback last year. He transferred to UCF is Gus Malzahn still there? Which that should be. I think so. Regardless, he's a fun to watch. So he transferred, but they got a quarterback, I want to say from Bowling Green, maybe? I would have to look it up. Traylon Green is his name, but another big quarterback, 6'7", looked good in the spring game, like has a really good arm on him. So it should be fun to see kind of what they do with him in Petrino's offense. They got a really good running back room. They got a Utah transfer. What's his name? Jackson. Yeah, Jackson, the Utah transfer.
Oh, you didn't want to pronounce that first name?
Is it Jaquaden Jackson?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll go with that. JJ. We'll just call him JJ. Utah transfer. Super talented. I remember at Utah, he was really good. Rashad Dubinson is really good returning guy. They got a freshman coming in, and then they have some speed at wide receiver that I think is going to be good. So Petrino has a lot of people to work with. The only thing I don't know about their offensive line, I think it's kind of suspect. Defense, they lost. What was that dude's name? Paul. First of all, fantastic name. I think he left, but he was a solid. I think he played linebacker, but he was solid last year. And then, but they have Landon Jackson's coming back, who was at LSU, transferred. This is, I think, his 2nd year and final year at Arkansas from Texarkana. Really solid defensive end.
Is that like between Texas and Arkansas?
Dude, it's on the border. Half the cities in Texas, half the cities in Arkansas.
Okay,
pretty cool town. Yeah. Texarkana.
Where's the Anna come from? Santa Ana, the general that fought the Alamo.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Texarkana. Okay, got it.
Don't know.
All right, take me through the games. 1 through 12. Give me wins and losses.
Okay. So first game, let me pull it up. Was it UAPB?
Yeah.
Win.
Yeah. Okay. Then they go, here's a tough one. That thing is
a really tough one.
At Oklahoma State.
Loss.
So you think loss? I
Definitely.
think they'll win there, but I don't.
Oh.
It wouldn't surprise me if they lost.
Oh, I think they'll
Okay.
lose.
All right.
Like
so
Oklahoma State, Gus Malzahn always finds dudes somewhere.
I'm 1-1. You're 2-0.
I'm one. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
2-0. Then they
Okay.
have UAB at home.
Win.
She win.
I'll go win there too. And then they go to Auburn.
No
Loss.
chance.
No chance. War damn Eagle. Am I
That's where I
right?
think they get their first loss there.
Okay.
So I'm
you're
gonna go three.
you're-
I'll go 3-1.
you're 3-1,
Then they
and
go.
we're 2-2.
You're 2-2. I'm 3-1. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they go to Arlington to play Texas A&M for the last
Loss.
time. Because after this is the last year in Dallas, and they go back to home and home.
Loss.
I'll go loss there. So I'll go 3-2. And then they go. Then they got Tennessee at home.
Loss.
I'm gonna go loss too. So I'm gonna go 3-3 bye week. Then they got LSU at home.
Loss.
Lose.
I would agree with that.
This guy Pittman's getting fired.
That's so.
Yeah, it's not looking
Let me
good.
see.
This
Let me
is
see.
kind of tough
So
schedule.
I got 3. Yeah, dude, brutal schedule. 3. So they're 3-4 right now through LSU. Okay. Then I go to Mississippi State.
Win.
I'll go win.
Can see that.
I'll go 4-4. Then they have Ole Miss at home. Loss.
Ole Miss is so
I don't.
you never know what shows up. Like
They're
one day
already-
they're one
I
day
think-
they're a rebel, one day they're a shark.
I
Like
think Ole
Actually,
Miss can be.
yeah.
Ole Miss
All
can
right.
be good this year.
all right,
But
win.
they're like that one of those teams where it's like if they're predicted to be good or do anything that they just like totally don't show up. I feel like, but
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see.
That's how I mean that's what I hate about Ole Miss because they do those big games. As a Gamecock fan, like I'm just used to like, hey guys, on a bad year we win 5 games, on a good year we win 6. Like this is what we do. And it's just, it's steady as she goes.
Bad year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have loss at Ole Miss.
Okay.
So what am I at? Hold on, let me count them up. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I have 4 and 5 right now. Okay.
And I'm one behind you, so I'm 3 and 6.
Okay. Let me see. Then they have Texas at home.
Loss.
Yep.
As much as it pains me, I would love to see them beat Texas, but yeah, I agree
That
with
would
that.
be great.
Solve varsity's horns.
Then they got Louisiana Tech at home.
Solve varsity's horns off. Solve varsity's horns off. Short. That was for you, Trey.
Appreciate it. They got La Tech at home.
Win.
We should win
So
that,
it's-
right?
I got 5 wins.
Okay.
And
That's
then,
it.
and then they got Missouri.
Loss.
I'm gonna
Loss.
say loss, too.
I think they
All
got.
right, so wait, what did we disagree on in the beginning? It was in the first 3 games. You had UAPB. and
It was Oklahoma State. I think they beat Oklahoma State. You
Okay,
think they?
so that's all that matters. This whole season, when we revisit this for the OK podcast, Jeff and Grant said loss. You said win. Oklahoma State, boom.
Yeah.
That's-
The only thing I'd be curious of is if they fire Pittman after like the Ole Miss game,
like early.
and then Petrino takes over like the last 3 games,
Ooh.
and then they pull some like do some fun stuff and like beat Texas or
Kind of like
beat
when
Missouri.
Spurrier quit 4 games in, and they made Sean Elliott the head coach, and then he lost to the Citadel, and they fired him immediately.
Are you happy with that or not happy?
I was happy with that because the season was already shot. The Spurrier era was ending. And I'm like, I've heard about one game my entire Citadel time. And it was at 1991. We beat the Gamecocks. And I get to exist to experience this again. So, I mean, I was obviously devastated. But at that point, it's like, let us lose to everyone so that major shakeups happen.
What about if what was it the game when Citadel played Alabama?
They were up 10-0 at the
Oh,
half,
yeah.
man. I own the t-shirt. Alabama 0, Citadel 10. It's a picture of the actual scoreboard.
That was an exciting
Time to be
game.
alive. Yeah. I know we're going to do all
Exciting
the
first
SEC
half.
I know we're going to do all the, it was 52-10 at the end. I know we're going to do all the SEC teams, but at the end we have to break down the Citadel and Butler football.
I'd be down with that.
Yeah, you know.
All right.
Well,
So-
And Emerson football.
Yeah.
Emerson
Long story
football,
short,
undefeated.
I think Sam Pittman is. I think this is last year. I think Bob Petrino's coaching waiting. I think they get 5 games this year. Jake, my buddy Jake, I was talking to today. He's going to be upset, but I think he'll be happy with Petrino
State
going
Farm,
forward.
Jake from State Farm.
Jake from State Farm.
Didn't know you knew him.
Yeah.
Good dude.
Jeff, what's the next slide and why is it the NBA?
Ooh, it's because it is the NBA, and we're going to talk about it. All right, we're moving into the conference finals.
Yeah, we are. Game 1 right now. Pacers.
Mavericks are playing, right?
We got a score?
Mavs will be tomorrow. Yeah, it's the end of the third, and the Celtics are up 99-97, which is crazy because I watched the first, and the Celtics opened up with a 12-0 run. So I thought the game is well readily in hand. But I know we have other stuff to hit, so I think we shouldn't divulge down the sports hole too hard. But I'll give you my hot takes real quick.
Love it.
Celtics beat the Pacers. I actually think a bunch of close games, but I think they win in 5. I think they're actually that much better. Pacers top leading scorers in the league. Boston's defense good. I think it's a good matchup. I think Celtics in 5s and they move on. And then Mavericks Wolves. This is controversial. Everyone's on the Wolves train. I like the Wolves. Our friends at Massonomics, Tanner and Tommy, like the Wolves. So I've had fun texting them during the games because they're pulling for them. Kevin Garnett from Rock Hill, South Carolina, Celtics champion, T-Wolves champion.
KG.
I've always kind of
ticket.
had a little soft spot for the Wolves as a kid. I like Kirby Puckett, Minnesota Twins. So by default, I kind of followed the Wolves. So I'm partial Wolves. And I was big on the Wolves against the Nuggets because beating the Joker's taking down Goliath. But I think Luka Doncic is the best player in the NBA.
Wow.
And I think that the Mavs beat them. Probably 7 games. I think it's going to be a slugfest. But I think you're going to see Dallas, Boston in the finals.
Dang.
Send that to Pat McAfee.
Luka is getting held together by duct tape right now. I know he's banged up.
He did not look good.
But he just keeps getting it done.
He looked all right in that last game. He went off in the 4th, but up until then, he looked kind of shaky. Yeah. Big Ticket, dude. What a great nickname.
The Big Ticket.
I mean,
I fist bumped Kevin Garnett
how
once.
good is it to be called the Joker?
That's a really good one.
Wait, do you think that's better than the Big Ticket?
No, we're talking about Luka, right?
No, Joker's.
Yeah.
Joker is Joker. Big Ticket's Luka Doncic.
Big Ticket's Kevin Garnett.
Big Ticket's Kevin Garnett.
Yeah. Luka drives an El Camino to every game.
That's awesome.
and wears a cowboy hat.
Wow.
And speaks very little English. I love it.
I don't think he really cares that much about playing basketball, too.
Yeah. Anyway, KG had a great little clip on a podcast where they were Paul Pierce was asking him who are you going to pull for if it's Wolves Celtics, and he's gives this analogy that he's a drug dealer on the block, and he has to supply both people, but it's his block, and he's the only person that can run the block because no one else owns the block. He's one of them there. He's one of them here. You call me and you need me tonight, courtside, I'll be there. You call me, you need me there tonight, I'll be there. Who do I want to win? The block. Who's the block? KG. It's it's amazing. I'll send you guys a clip. Anyway.
He didn't win with the Timberwolves, did he?
He didn't win with the Timberwolves. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I think they were Western Conference.
Yeah.
They were fun to watch.
Yeah. But it was a funny bit.
Good teams.
All right. You want to give a quick hot take, Trey, before we move to the next slide? Who are we going to see in the finals? We got to give PJ a shot too. He's from Indiana.
I don't know, man. I feel like Timberwolves are pretty deep. So I'm going to go Timberwolves. I'll go Celtics, Timberwolves, Celtics win.
Okay.
I have my only
We're
connection.
just going to the finals right now. You don't have to name. We'll give you a pass.
Oh, okay. I think Celtics are too good, man.
Yeah.
I can get behind that because old Celtics coach was also the Butler basketball coach when they were in the Final Four. So I got the connection.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So you're going against the Pacers.
Wolves
or Mavs then.
This is tough.
Don't have
This is
that
tough.
connection.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any connection to any other team except for Pacers and Celtics.
And to be clear, I would prefer Wolves Celtics, but I think it's going to be Wolves Mavs.
Is there a chance that Porzingis comes back?
Celtics. I think KP's coming back. I think this is like a Grant listens to way too much 98.5 the Sports Hub out of Boston, but it's like, hey,
finger on the pulse.
Yeah, I think he's coming back. And if KP comes back, lights out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been watching more. I've been following hockey more so than basketball.
Dude, hockey.
Dude, it's been fun.
It's been a great postseason. And obviously I'm like very upset about the Bruins losing, but like even last night, Edmonton scores 2 goals in the third and then gets like 5 shots on goal towards the end of the game. And they were down 3-0. Mm-hmm. Like you take a game that you turn on, you're like, oh, third period, 10 minutes left. Edmonton lost. Oilers are in. And it's like, oh, this isn't over. I think this playoff hockey, I think this, so this is a probably weird hot take, but I think that most people that like basketball don't like hockey.
Okay.
And most people that like hockey don't really follow the NBA. And I can tell you this even in like my small Boston sports fans world, right? Like I got a bunch of group texts when stuff started going on. Like when the Bruins were going, had all these guys like popping off. And like tonight, Boston goes up 12-0. And I'm like sending them all like I took a picture and like sending them to them. They're like, oh yeah. Let me know if they win. I'm like, wait, what? But what I was going to say is if you like both, this is underrated sports time of the year because every night there's a playoff game every night. And it's great. Great.
Fine.
All right. Next slide.
Okay. Well, you want to do quick, you got picks for NHL? Who do you think's going to get to the finals?
Ooh.
I think Stars Rangers.
Yeah. I mean, as much as I hate to say it because bleep the Yankees, I don't want to see the Rangers win, but I think the Rangers are winning it.
The whole thing?
Yeah, I think the Rangers are going to win the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. Well, then, do we want to jump into the questions from the Slack segment?
I think we need to. We've been telling these people we're going to answer their questions. And
Slack it up, baby.
Sure they get deep into the episode and actually listen to it.
Yeah.
Slack it up.
Hey, guys, if you make it to minute marker 1 hour, 42 minutes, we answered your questions.
They got to make it through the BW tax ads first.
That's right.
One of them was for you, Jeff, and I want you to open with that one.
Okay.
Let's
scroll down to it.
What's it there? Anglico.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So the question, this one comes from Eddie Phillips. I think
By the way,
I saw
Big
mention.
Eddie's like a midshipman or something.
Yeah. Looks like in his picture, he's wearing some coveralls with some midshipman rank. So
handsome fella.
Right. So his question, could you explain what Anglico is and what it does, etc.? So Anglico is an
lightning
acronym.
from the sky, thunder from the sea. Next slide.
Anglico. Always needing gel. Is that what it stands for? Yeah.
Yes, that is it.
Nice come
So it stands
over.
for Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company. So it's like the longest name that any unit has, big mouthful. So they shorted it down to Anglico. Let's see. So really what it is like the liaison portion and fires portion. So artillery, naval gunfire, controlling aircraft, all that stuff. And it's kind of purpose within the Marine Corps is to plug into usually foreign units or other branches of the U.S. military that are like adjacent to a Marine Corps battle space. So if it was like, let's say in Afghanistan and there's a Marine Corps kind of like battle space and this regiment owns this area and next to them, the British Army has like an area of operations that they're controlling. So what would happen is you would send over Anglico, usually a firepower control team or a supporting arms liaison team, and they plug in with that British unit and kind of act as their ability to control American fires, whether it's from the air or like artillery or mortars. So it pretty much is comprised of mostly artillery Marines and communications Marines. And then on the officer side, artillery officers, and then aviation guys. So whether it's a pilot or a naval flight officer from all the various platforms, and you kind of operate in these like smaller teams, and you plug in with foreign countries and help them out controlling U.S. fires. So it's definitely a fun unit to be a part of. You get to do a lot of like more independent kind of like, you know, stuff where you're out there and it's just your team plugged in with this foreign unit, or like I've done stuff where we went out to Fort Irwin and we're part of like a striker brigade with the Army. So it's just really cool. You kind of get out there and be like the face of the Marine Corps to that foreign unit or like that other branch of the service.
So I would ask this, and this is a legit question as an 0802 artilleryman, because what's his first name? Jeremy?
Eddie
Close,
Close.
right?
Yeah,
Eddie.
close.
Yeah, Eddie, Jeremy, same thing, same amount of syllables. But so he's probably at the Naval Academy, potential Marine Corps contract, gonna commission as an officer. You can't go to Anglico as your first duty assignment, right?
As an officer?
As an officer, like you, right? So you'd have to be an artillery officer to move over and go
To be biller, right?
Yeah. So typically it'll be like your second duty station after you do like your lieutenant time with an artillery battalion.
Yeah.
Then you can get orders over to Anglico.
And then at that point, I feel like later on as an artillery officer, you could stay Anglico, you know, whether you're active reserves, like it's not a B billet, like you will always, you know, because a B billet, it's a loose term, but like you could kind of work the system to stay in Anglico, but it's like if someone comes to you and they're like, hey, I want to join the Marine Corps, I want to be MARSOC. It's like, great. You need to go become a grunt for 4 years and then apply for MARSOC. Eddie, right? Eddie Phillips.
Eddie.
Yeah. Hope that answers your question.
Jeremy,
So that's what Anglico is. But if you're looking to do that, you would have to go in as you guys have other people besides 0802s though, right?
It used to be that like the infantry
Fat
officers or like armor officers would go there, but like, so it's on the officer side, it's all 0802s, so artillery officers, and then pilots or like naval flight officers.
Okay. Eddie, you want to be an artillery officer, red leggers.
Oh yeah.
To the day.
It's by far the best.
Yeah, the best.
And then grow your hair out, go to Anglico.
Yeah. Unblouse your boots. Cup
Angla
your
bro.
sleeves.
Yeah.
That's right. Wear a fanny
Angla
pack.
Biggie.
Wear a fanny pack.
Dude, I embraced it.
Hey.
You got to accept the culture.
You wore it well, dude. You wore it
whatever the
well.
culture is in your unit, you gotta embrace it.
Oh yeah.
As long as it's, you know.
Wait. So I don't know any context in this. What's like the classic, like quintessential Anglico man? Like what if there was like an action figure? Like what was his dress be, hair be? Like what's he look like?
I feel like Trey needs to answer first.
Okay.
Then Jeff, then me,
I'm gonna
and
guess.
then
I'll
Jordy
start.
will guess Chat GPT to take our transcript and put the person on the screen.
Correct.
So I'll start at the top.
Just
Very
a
long
picture
hair,
of
long hair, low fade.
That means like on the side.
Yeah.
They barely.
Yeah. Probably wearing Ray-Bans.
Patagonia.
Yeah. So some sort of Ray-Bans, if I take a guess. They probably shaved with like a Norelco like the evening before. So it's like the 5 o'clock shadow is definitely there.
Yeah.
Old camis that have been, they're just like, it's not new. So they're kind of faded.
They might have like hung them on the clothesline for a week though. Just to make them look faded.
Yep.
Yeah, probably. That's if I take a guess. Go down. They probably are. I don't know. Dude, they probably black belt McMap. Just taking a guess.
Yeah, I'd go with that.
Yeah. But they
for my
definitely, if
turn.
they're in the field, it's tucked in. Their camis are tucked in their trousers for sure. If not, yeah. And then go down, boots unbloused, probably some Oakley, like non-standard, like Marine Corps boots. that kind of fit. Am I close?
I'm going to summarize everything you said, Trey, with what my thought was. And my thought is a little more succinct. Like you were very specific.
Yeah.
When I think of an Anglico officer, I think of everything the Marine Corps wants from me, but just slightly not what they want.
It's like almost
every
there.
element of my life. You want my hair to be 3 inches? It's 3.5.
It's almost there.
You want me to wear a skivvy shirt? Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
I forgot.
Am I not allowed to cuff my sleeves? I feel like there's not a rule. I'm gonna cuff them. Can I tuck my blouse in? It's not written anywhere, so I'm gonna tuck it in. Also, by the way, I want to show off my black belt. You know, are these boots authorized? Does it matter? I'm working with the Filipinos right now, so you better respect me. Like
I've
it's
been Marine Corps in 34 Gulf. Yeah,
everything's
I know what's up.
just slightly off. I'm trying to paint a visual for Jordy.
Jeff, is that close?
I mean, I got almost nothing to add to that. That's pretty spot on. I would say frog gear. That's
frog
what
gear.
we always do. We always wear frogs.
What I would say is that special operations guys literally don't care. They're like, dude, last night I swam in and killed somebody. Like, I don't care. I haven't shaved in weeks.
Accurate. Yeah.
But like Anglico guys still doing really cool stuff, but they're still like a Marine at heart. So it's like this weird transition.
They feel too guilty to go too far.
Yeah, exactly. That's why they shave at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Because they're like, no, I shaved. I just didn't shave this morning.
Oh man.
Yeah, so not like a Navy SEAL.
So basically like Bradley Cooper.
Everyone's called by their first name, probably.
I mean, I think that should be everywhere personally.
That's true. I will say Jeff got to do the one thing. I think the coolest thing in the Marine Corps is being a JTAC.
Agreed.
Jeff got to be a JTAC. I bet that's a blast. PJ, that's where you just call in airstrikes.
So you just say like, go get him.
Yeah.
No, it's actually every time.
Basically,
I'm going to butcher this and then we're going to save an in-depth interview with Jeff for next time so we can get to the last slide. But the way I like to explain it is like when you see planes flying in combat and ordnance being dropped, someone is somewhere in the vicinity looking at the battle space in some shape or form, maybe with their eyes, maybe with software, and they're being like, yep, you can drop that.
Yeah.
Like pilots don't just get to go through and drop bombs. There's a guy on the ground.
So that makes sense.
Someone has coordinated.
The guy on the ground.
Yeah. You don't want to be like, oops, right? Like,
oops. There went Hiroshima. Oops.
Oops.
Every time Joe Rogan talks about drone strikes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
I don't understand this.
There are not just drone. He always just talks about how like he makes drone strikes sound like they are just like, we're just like shoot missiles randomly and just wherever they land, you know,
just drone strike them.
Kids. And it's like, that's not how any of this works.
Yeah.
Like, we do sometimes hit the wrong thing, but it is not because it didn't go through like 7 different levels of clearance and somebody just messed up.
I will say, and everyone I know from Anglico is a JTAC.
So the greatest thing, if you're an artillery officer, you are something called Joint Fires Train, which means you have like a very elementary level of JTAC education.
Okay.
And so you can, if needed, you're called Joint Fires Observer. You can basically set up the whole thing and then the JTAC will say cleared hot, meaning like everything that guy just said, you can now execute. Mm-hmm. But when you're a JFO, you have to start and say, I am not a JTAC. And it's like a run. It's kind of like in the Star and Strike community, like people comment on the boards. Not an SSC, but and it's just like that.
I'm not a JTAC.
Not a JTAC or an SSC, but bomb that squat, baby.
Grant actually got on the radio and said, I am a starting strength coach.
I did.
But I'm not a JTAC. But I am an SSC. I'm cleared hot.
Do you have any lifting questions?
We got another question there. I feel like we should.
Yeah. Let's. I'll get one that's a little more like lifting oriented. Do we want to talk about breathing during the press, or backing off weight to accommodate for a longer eccentric portion of a lift.
Oh, that's a good one too. But I like that breathing during the press one.
Yeah, let's do that one.
Okay. All right.
Who's
This one
it from?
comes from Michael Buckley.
Ooh, yeah, Big Michael, Ventura Meat Company, Ventura, California. He's a native of Tennessee, huge Volunteers fan, like big time. He's somehow ended up on the West Coast. We're praying for him every day. But yeah,
not a JTAC or an SEC.
Not a JTAC or an SSC,
to be clear.
but he is a butcher.
If
you join our Slack channel, I will tell you the meat and cooking advice that this guy drops in the nutrition channel. He should be charging me.
It is really good.
It's unbelievable. The guy's really smart. Anyway,
Nuck if you buck.
That's what he always says.
Yeah. All right. So Michael's question is breathing patterns on the press. It looks like talked about. Let's see. When do you want to exhale, at the top or like versus the bottom when you're back in like the racked position?
Yeah.
What's your approach to that, Grant?
He when's
optimal?
The ideal? Yeah. So a little bit of a tough question. So in starting strength, we teach something called the press 2.0, where you throw your hips at the start. So like your pelvis goes forward, your knees don't bend. It's not a push press. You just throw your hips forward. So we would breathe in, you would brace, you'd throw your hips forward. As you did that, the bar would come down a little bit and then it would go up. And then you'd come back down and you'd get a new breath. So in that style of lift, you could technically breathe out at the top, exhale, come down, new breath, throw the hips again. Most people, I just tell them, if you're pressing like that, press 2.0, starting strength style, breathe at the bottom. Like throw the hips, press the bar up, come down, exhale, new breath, go on to the next rep. The other thing is like something we would call, let's just call a strict press, or a lot of the internet will call a military press or press 1.0, where same deal, holding the bar in front of you, in front of your shoulders, and you're just pressing it up overhead. You'd breathe at the bottom, you just press the bar up and you'd come down. I'd still say breathe out once you bring the bar down, take a new breath, don't hang out, and go into the next rep. Where it gets tricky is there's another technique where so in the press 2.0, we're getting a stretch reflex out of the hips. You're throwing the hips out of the psoas. The muscles are hitting their end of their extensibility, making your pelvis come back. You're getting a little bounce out of the bar and you're throwing it up. The reason we like that versus a push press is because it's reproducible. The problem with the push press, there's no problem with it. It's a fine movement, but you can just bend your knees more next time when you add weight and therefore incorporate more quadricep. So if I'm push pressing, I'm bending my knees to get my quad to get the bar up and then I'm locking it out. And so there's no way to say, I will only bend my knees this much each time. So as the weight goes up in the bar, you just start using more quads. And the argument that I would make as an SSC is that you work your quads when you squat and you deadlift. You're not trying to work your quads when you press. I mean, obviously they're being utilized because it's a long kinetic chain throughout your whole body, but the goal is not, hey, I'm trying to work my quads right now. So that's why we do the press 2.0, because you can get a stretch reflex out of the psoas and it's reproducible every time. And therefore you can add weight and it's a trainable thing. The other one is a strict press, but the problem with the strict press is it's going to be limiting because it's not quite as much muscle mass. The other way you can get a stretch reflex is something we call a press 1.0, is where on rep 1, you press the bar up and lock it out, and then you exhale at the top, reset your breath, and then as you bring the bar down, you actually get the stretch reflex out of the tricep. So as you come down, the tricep extends, and you come down to the bottom and go right back up. So in that style of press, you would breathe out at the top after rep 1. If it's heavy, you obviously need to be tight for rep 1. So you breathe in, press it out, and then go down and up. So,
to answer his question, it's yes. Depending on what you're doing.
Don't forget to breathe.
Yeah, don't forget to breathe.
It all depends on what kind of press you're doing.
It depends on what type of press you're doing, but you want to definitely hold your breath through the concentric, aka the pushing portion of the lift. If you are doing the if you are trying to get a stretch reflex out of the bottom, you would want to breathe out at the top. Yeah. Long-winded answer, but maybe that's a YouTube video.
That should be a YouTube
Yeah,
video.
it should be a YouTube video. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also you could talk about like why someone would switch to the 1.0 or not an SEC, but I think I heard Rip talk about one time, like if someone has shoulder issues, that is true. Get him. Yes.
Not an SSC, but I am a JCAC.
I love it.
But he said something about like, I heard some video of him talking about like someone had shoulder issues. It was bothering them. Sometimes starting from the top basically can help.
Yep. Yeah.
Some people solve that.
It can help for people with shoulder issues. I generally use that for people that you're trying to teach them how to throw their hips, and they're what we call like a motor moron. Like they just push press every time. They keep bending their knees. And it's like, well, this isn't productive. And so we just say, hey, let's do this other way. And I mean, I think the press 2.0 is great. Definitely incorporates more muscle mass, but there's also more room for error. When you throw your hips far, you can easily get the bar out of its bar path. So, I mean, when I teach people how to press, if you come in and say, Grant, you're an SSC, teach me how to press, I'm going to teach you a strict press, because I want you to figure out how important the bar path is and how to lock it out properly overhead. And then when your press starts to fail, I'm going to try to teach you the press 2.0. And not that age has anything to do with it, but if you're a 60-year-old dude that's kind of uncoordinated, I'm just like, hey man, press the first one up, breathe out of the top, and then, bounce out of the bottom. So yeah, there's different times for each one. I don't like to teach new lifters to press 2.0 though. I mean, I'm capable, but like, I don't, unless they really want to do it. I'm like, bro, you're pressing 55 pounds. Like, let's learn how to get the bottom position right and the top position right and keep it close to your face. Like, we don't need to be throwing hips around.
Good question.
The hips don't lie.
Amen.
All right, Hefe.
Time for one more?
Yeah, unless you got another slide. I mean, we answered 2. That's enough of a tease for people to keep asking questions and like, oh, there's 2 questions. We answered 2. But we got like one more segment left.
Okay. That concludes our Slack questions then. So let's move on.
Keep asking them.
Gosh, where's the thread?
I will say,
not organized.
I'm starting this week, getting back into it. I'm doing what was your program, Grant? It was like one lift a day kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just kind of just do something, like just doing something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm probably not putting on a ton of weight as far as on the bar.
It was just 500 on the deadlift.
Yeah, week over week.
Casual.
So I guess my question with that, like, what was your breakdown? Like, were you doing like squat twice a week, or what were you doing with that?
Yeah, in a quick summary, it's funny you asked that because Nolan Hickey, episode 16,
Earlier,
Marine captain texted me today and asked me that, and actually I haven't answered it. But in short, when I do a one lift a day, like a literally one. So sometimes I say one lift a day, but it's like, on this day I do 2 lifts. But like when I actually do one lift a day, I'd 5x5 squat day 1. I'd 5x5 bench or press day 2. I deadlift. I say 3x5, but that usually means like a top set and back off sets. But I deadlift a really heavy, and then I'd pick up some volume, take the next day off. I'd press 5x5 the next day if I benched the first one, and then I would do a squat intensity day. So if you do one lift a day, it kind of needs to go over 6 days a week. I do think for the sake of your deadlift and your squat, you need to squat twice a week.
Okay.
So one day is like a volume, and one day is like a heavy day. Yeah, that's kind of my basic breakdown. And then like if you have time, like on your intensity squat day, like if you're going in, you're doing like 3 heavy triples, like it's going to be really hard, but it's only going to take you 30 minutes, if that. So like great day to, I don't know, knock out 30 chin-ups, however many sets it takes, great day to, you got some dumbbells, hit some bicep stuff, do some push-ups, so it's kind of the one lift a day thing is basically saying, hey, for me, the better way to think about it is like under 50 minutes in the gym a day.
Yeah.
And then I'm saying, okay, what do I have to do? These things. Oh, well, I just bench 5x5 and it took me 32 minutes. Like I actually still could spend 10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, knock out 100 push-ups. You know, do your chin-ups that day or whatever. Like, there's definitely some room for accessories, especially on those bench and or press days.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Mike Tyson updates. Was it Jake Paul he's fighting, right? Jake Paul,
he's fighting. And yeah, I don't really have any good updates from last week. I'm just watching more clips come out of Mike Tyson. But you know what? I'm getting suspicious. I got to admit, I'm getting suspicious. I'm watching these videos come out of Mike Tyson. Obviously, he looks like a terrifying beast of a man, just a train running through his poor training partner holding the mitts for him.
Don't natty.
But there, I hope not. But I will say, I mean, man, those were some pretty intense jump cuts. I wonder if this is just a psyop of, hey, we're going to take the 5 times he had a really good punch, a really good hit, and just cut those together really fast. I'm a little skeptical as a video guy. I'm looking at it. I'm like, that was a lot of editing you just did. I wonder if this is all just fake. I don't know. Maybe he's breathing heavy in between every time he fires off a jab cross and he's got to take a break. You know, I don't know.
Was Jake Paul on the Disney Channel?
Yes. And it's so funny because there's these videos going back. Maybe I can add it in the video. I've seen some things cut together of like Jake Paul when he was 18, and it's him like doing some dance on like a Disney promo or whatever like that. And then it's like Mike Tyson when he's 18, he's like murdering someone and just like an absolute beast.
Yeah, you gotta send us those.
I gotta send you those. It's crazy. Mike Tyson at 18 was a freaking animal.
Mike Tyson at 57 is a freaking animal.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and I remember,
just genetically gifted.
Yeah. What I'm banking on is that Mike Tyson at his peak was like, he'll just kill anyone. Right. And as you age, he's going to be.
Technically, that's the O.J. Simpson deal. But anyway, continue.
This is true. Yeah. Different guy. But you're going to drop right from your peak to being 58. My hope is that his peak was so high.
Oh, yeah.
That if he drops in half, he's still way better than anybody currently.
How's Jake Paul right now?
26, 7, somewhere in there.
So he's like
young.
He's
at
young.
his peak.
Oh yeah. He's probably near or at his peak. So that's why it's a little tough. You know, he's an old man, Mike Tyson, but maybe his drop is still just, he's way up there, you know?
He's getting paid regardless. I don't think he cares too much.
Nah, he ain't worried about it.
Yeah.
He ain't worried
He's
about
getting
it.
paid. And one of the reasons he's getting paid is because I guarantee you that guy has someone intelligent taking care of his taxes. And I could tell you an intelligent way to take care of the taxes, or we could also.
The thing that I've always
Let
liked
this
about
guy.
bwtaxllc.com is that they are a smaller company, and smaller companies care more. In general, there's not a hierarchy of people that are telling you, make more money from our clients. They want you to make money. That's why you use them, because when you use them, they're gonna give you the tools to get the most money back from the government that generally takes all of our stuff.
Amen.
But it's their mission. It's their job to get as much money back from the government and put it into the pockets of hardworking Americans.
Daggum.
Yeah, the best part.
You can never end that ad early. You have to wait for the daggum. Big Jim Denofa, doubt you're still listening now that you're no longer a guest. But if you made it 2 hours into this, thanks for that, BW Tax. But as always, we have a media guy right here on the team. He's a ad reader. If you've seen Mad Men, if he was born in that generation, that would be your guy if you needed marketing and advertising advice. And that guy's name is Trey Gottlich. So Trey, tell them about the OK podcast, where they can find us, why they should find us, who they should follow.
What's the episode we're on?
021.
Wow, time flies.
Time.
Guys, can I tell you something real quick? I just
Yeah.
want to talk to everybody. I just want to thank everybody sincerely for listening, especially if you're listening this long into it. All 3 of y'all, we love y'all. Thank
Yeah, we
you.
do.
Because it's mainly my wife that's still
us.
listening.
Oh, I thought that was the three of us.
Oh, no, I was talking to the other three listeners.
Oh, okay.
So, no, everyone listening, I want to thank you for listening to episode 021 of the
Okay.
podcast. We'd like to thank our sponsor, BW Tax, as always, for giving us the funds to power this episode. And who else are we powered by? The Strength Co. Want to thank the Strength Co. as well. If you're not on the Slack, please hop on there. A lot of good coaching, good lifting tips, and just all around life tips in general.
What code should they use when they check out?
You tell me.
Okay.
Oh,
All caps.
And you get it for
$10 off.
$10 off. I like it. Okay. I was going to say
Can't
free
afford
for
not
life,
to.
but that's not right. Yeah, $10 off. Use the code OK. Hop on that Slack. Come talk to all of us. We'd love to see you there. You can always find us on Instagram,
Yep.
X,
Yep.
LinkedIn,
Yep.
not Facebook,
Nope.
True Social. The best way to find us on all those is go to www.theokpodcast.com and please click on all those links, especially YouTube. We're trying to build that up. So go to YouTube, watch our pretty faces on there, like and subscribe, leave a comment so I can comment back at you.
Yeah. Just
That's it.
like
Did I miss
that.
anything?
No, you did great. Just every time and now and then we forget. There's a really active account within our house. It's at BiggieJP on Instagram.
That's right.
That guy. I mean, the post. It's hard to keep up. Like if
On
you
the
follow
hour,
him,
every hour.
you're gonna really miss it. Make sure to follow that. Jordy _long or _long long.
Yep.
2 underscores between Jordy and Long.
So nice you did it twice.
Gottlich 3.
No,
3
close.
Gottlich.
There
3
it is.
Gottlich
Yeah.
on X. Grant SSC on X. That's really all that matters.
Good guess next week.
Great
yeah.
guest next week. Caleb Gottlich. So
MD.
boom. Cats out of the bag. Brothers out of the bag, as I like to say.
Best surgeon in the game.
Yeah.
At least in Lubbock.
I'd love
Well,
to do the
yeah.
post-game talk with you guys, but the Celtics hit a 3 with 5 seconds to go, and it is overtime.
OT.
I will see you guys later.
Later, boys.
See ya.